Three things that I like to look at and really think through. And I'm going to tell you those, and then I'm going to actually show you the cool calculator that can really help you just to make the decisions for you. And the three things, it's pretty simple. It's kind of like the old band. I don't know if you remember TLC. I think it was a kind of like a girls band. So this would be PLC. So pension, lump sum, and cost of living adjustment. So that's what you got to think through when it comes to the pension and what you are going to do in determining what is best for you. So PLC, let's take a look. Let's figure this out together. And so if we're looking right here, this is a super cool calculator. I'm going to have Cody put the link below for us. So we're looking right here, pension versus lump sum payout calculator. Really what you've got to figure out and what you need to know with your pension, there are a lot of benefits that come with the pension. And part of that is what the payout is. What is your payout going to be for your pension? Is it going to be something that you are going to take for yourself? Or if you have a spouse and you are wanting to share the benefit with them in the event that you passed early, what does that look like? How much are they going to be getting as well? You can oftentimes take it so the least amount is if you pass away, your spouse gets 100% of the benefit. The other options sometimes will vary depending on the plan. If you are a government employee versus if you are a state employee, there's various things that come into play here, or a federal government versus a state government. There's various things that come into play. So with this calculator, it just shows you a quick little breakdown here, and it says, okay, well, you're going to have 100% joint survivor, 75% joint survivor, 50% joint survivor, and then you have life with 10 years certain, which means that, okay, I'm going to take the pension, and then if I live for 10 years, it's guaranteed for my spouse, but then after 10 years, it's gone. Now, what people get confused with that is they say, okay, I'm going to take the 10-year certain. That means when I die, they're going to get it for 10 years. No, it's 10 years from the date that you retire. So be careful with that one because I've seen people actually get burned on that and try to go the wrong route there. And so you've got to figure out what you want. So let's just say that your spouse and you are together and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take the most conservative route. I want to figure this out. Now, I had mentioned the C of everything in PLC is cost of living adjustment. And this is one that if you don't get a cost of living adjustment, this could change everything because you've got to be very careful with the fire department. Specifically, the state of Florida had changed things, and so you didn't get a cost of living adjustment after a certain year. Now, there were factors that came into play, and if you were with them early, you got a portion of it. It was kind of prorated in a sense. But let's just say that you got zero cost of living adjustment and you were a high-risk employee and you had the ability to retire at 45 or 50 years old. You're retiring a lot earlier than other people. But if you retire at 50 years old and your income in today's dollars in retirement is, let's just say $70,000, which is a really great steady income coming in, what's going to happen though if you are 50 today and at 75 years old, you don't have any cost of living adjustment? Well, guess what? Your $70,000 today is going to be worth way less. Just think through, what a house was worth just 3 years ago versus what it is today. So cost of living adjustment is a big one that you really want to think through here and find out from your employer plan. And so let's just say that cost of living adjustment is 3%, just for the number's sake here with this one. Okay, now we've got to figure out what your monthly pension is. Well, your monthly pension is something that you're going to have to figure out through your employer plan. Everybody's going to be different. It will depend on what type of pension type you are going with here. If it's the 100% joint survivor, if it's the single payout for just you. So let's just say that it's $5,000 monthly, and it's going to start at age 65. And now we're going to go down here, and we're going to say that if your breakdown total pension benefit payments beginning at age 65 would be $1 million if you lived to 80. But let's adjust this and let's just say you lived to 90. I like to use 90 as just a good conservative number when it comes to planning. Look at this here. That would be over $2,187,000 that the pension is going to pay out. And let's just say then that your spouse is the same age. And let's just make this super simple here. And let's just figure that. All right. So you can use something like this yourself, figure out what's going to be best, because what I want to show you now is, okay, well, we've got the L there, the lump sum. And now the lump sum is one that you really got to factor in and say, if I were to take the lump sum, then how much am I going to actually be able to have and invest? And then potentially if my wife and I get hit by the bus tomorrow, because that's the scenario that everybody uses, how much could be left for the kids for inheritance? So that's one you want to factor in here. And you want to say, all right, maybe I go the lump sum route. Well, let's just say that you got $1,500,000 on your lump sum there. Well, in that scenario, you would only need to get a 2.89% return on your money every single year on average to be able to really make this work. Now, you've got to really be really careful with this though, because you have to understand that if you're walking away from a steady pension, you're going into the stock market, you're going to have the ups and downs. This is not something you want to venture out on alone, especially if you've never done much investing and everything that you've had was set on getting a pension. I've seen a lot of people make the mistakes of taking the lump sum and then saying, hey, you know what? It's free money. I've got all this money sitting over here, and they start to pull from it and steadily pull from it. And before you know it, they've spent down a lot of what they had instead of making that last. And so really working with a planner, regardless of who you work with, I definitely encourage that. I do know of a good one though, but you've got to factor that in. And there's one other thing that I want to bring up too when it comes to the pension that could be playing in your favor. And that is the Social Security adjustment. Oftentimes when you retire, a lot of plans will pay some sort of Social Security adjustment for a short amount of time until you reach Social Security age. And so that's something where they're actually going to give you a little bit extra money until you reach a certain age, such as 62. So you really want to know what your plan benefits are, because that's not one that is showing in this calculator that can be factored in, but it is one that could be a big benefit that could give you a nice little nest egg of money coming through steadily until you reach Social Security age if you're retiring, especially at, let's say, like I had mentioned, age 50. So these are all things to factor in. Be sure to calculate it below, figure out what is best for you. And if you're looking for a planner, check us out.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.